Hello again, everyone. I hope you're all doing well, staying safe and staying inside as much as you can, still managing to get out for your daily walks or cycle rides, having a bit of time outside, getting a bit of exercise if you can. So, we were left on a huge cliffhanger, weren't we, with the Creakers? Lucy had just realised that the Creaker King is her dad. Wonder how that all happened then, when he disappeared, whether the Creakers snatched him and turned him into their king? Who knows? But let's find out with the next chapter, chapter 26, The Weird Work of the Woleb. Lucy opened her eyes. Her head swam dizzily and her stomach was filled with an awful kind of emptiness. She was staring right into a pair of curious, beady black eyes which blinked at her and then looked up. "The kindling be alive, your rottenness," announced Sniff. The king! Lucy's heart leapt as she remembered what had happened before she blacked out. She rolled slowly onto her side and sat up, wincing. "Dad!" she called out again, her voice wobbly with worry. The Creaker King stepped forward from his throne. Grunt, Guff and Scratch were still hiding in the shadows behind his back, in fear of another beam of light breaking through. "Why's you be calling me that, kiddling?" the king asked suspiciously. Lucy nervously took a step towards him so she could see him better. Her knees trembled. There he was, clear as crystal. It was her dad all right, just different, changed, creakified. Lucy studied this new face of his. His ears were long and pointy like a goblin's, and his skin had turned a dark, wrinkly green. His head was bald, although it had been bald before, so that wasn't any different. But now it was covered in big, lumpy moles. His nose was pointy, with twisty, wiry hairs poking out, and in his ears she could see dirty globules of brown wax, like he hadn't washed in years. But beneath all of that, all the rottenness, Lucy knew it was her dad. His eyes still twinkled like magic, and his left cheek where a deep dimple, there was a deep dimple giving him away. "Dad, what happened to you?" Lucy whispered in shock, and took another step towards him, reaching out with her shaking hand. But the king backed away into the shadows. "That's close enough! Is this another tricksy kiddling?" he demanded fiercely. "No, Dad, it's me, Lucy." "Who?" Your daughter. Don't you remember?" Lucy said, tears beginning to stream down her cheeks. And there she is, Lucy having a good old cry. And the Creaker King, who looks suspiciously like Lucy's dad. "Dad, you have to remember. You're not a Creaker. At least you haven't always been one. You're grown up with a wife and a kid, me. Lucy. You're Lucy Pops, remember?" "Lucy Pops," the king repeated slowly, as though he remembered saying that word before. "Yes," Lucy cried. "That's what you and Mum always call me." She saw the Creakers shooting quick, nervous glances at each other. "The kiddling be tricksing you, your rottenness," Grunt hissed. "Best not listen to that tricksy thing," added Guff. "It's not a trick," said Lucy. "Dad, you disappeared months ago. You just vanished. Everyone thought you'd left us. But I knew you wouldn't do that. Now I know what really happened." The Creakers all started fidgeting nervously. "You were snatched," Lucy's voice echoed around the cavernous room. "Me? Snatched?" the king scoffed. "Yes, Dad, by those 4 rotten things," Lucy pointed at Grunt, Guff, Scratch and Sniff. "They snatched you and brought you down here. Who better to be their king but you? The one man who knows rubbish better than anyone." Lucy stared at her dad's new Creaker face. You've been here so long, Dad. But this place has changed you, made you forget. It's turned you all backwards and different. But, Dad, I can see you're still in there. Suddenly another crack burst in the floor and a second streak of light shot out into the cave. Lucy! Norman's voice soared up through the hole. Lucy stared down it. She could see into her world and Norman waiting for her at the other end. Dad, come back with me, Lucy pleaded. No, your rottenness. This all be a trick, Grunt said from his hiding place in the king's shadow. It's not a trick, Dad, yelled Lucy, searching her brain for any way to make her dad remember. She stared at him standing there in his dirty green work jacket, and she suddenly remembered. Dad, your coat pocket, she exclaimed. There's something in there. It's yours, remember? Slowly the king slid his long black creaker claw into the coat pocket and pulled out something small, shiny and silver. His harmonica. You used to play it for me every night, Lucy said hopefully. She gazed at the king's face, watching for any sign that he recognised the object. He held it out in the palm of his hand, staring at it, studying it. Trick! 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 The four naughty Creakers chanted in the king's ear as he turned the silver harmonica round and saw his wretched reflection in its shiny surface. What is this thing? This be too shiny and nice to be the Creaker Kings, he snapped. You be tricksing me, little kidder. I never seen this before. No! Lucy cried out as he tossed the harmonica through the air. It landed with a splash in what was once the flowing pink milkshake river, but was now a stream of mouldy, bubbling sludge. Lucy ran to the edge of the stream, but it was too late. Harmonica was gone, sinking deep into the mulch, along with all hope of freeing her dad from this Creaker spell. The Woleb shook violently again, causing huge chunks of mould and festering rot to break away and crumble to dust. Lucy, it's really time to get out of there, Norman yelled through the hole from Whiffington. But Lucy wouldn't budge. I can't leave you behind. I won't lose you again, Dad, Lucy said through teary eyes. Her vision must have been blurred, for at the moment she thought she saw a little green teardrop trickle down Sniff's cheek too. As the Woleb collapsed around them, Grunt, Guff, Scratch and Sniff leapt for cover, shielding themselves from falling debris anywhere they could. Grunt and Scratch scuffled behind boulders, while a panicking Guff tried to bury himself in the mud. Sniff even dived head first into the mouldy river. There they are, all the Creakers trying to take cover while everything's falling. I wonder why Sniff's leaping into the river. What on earth would he want in there? Look what you humans have done to our world, to our home, the Creaker King said, looking at his glorious rotten castle which was beginning to tumble down, one silver dustbin at a time. We Creakers never wanted to. But Lucy had stopped listening. Something had caught her eye. Something impossible. Something small, shiny, and silver. Dad's harmonica, she whispered, as she watched it rise out of the flowing river, as though some sort of spell was bringing it back from the dead. Then she saw 3 black claws clasped around it, and a bony arm emerging from the mulch. There it is. Harmonica coming out of the river. Finally, Sniff's head appeared, and the Creaker pulled himself silently onto the bank of the river, soggy and damp and covered with slime. Sniff! Lucy gasped. The little Creaker put one claw on his cracked lips and shook his head. Lucy glanced over to the pile of rubble and mud where Grunt, Guff and Scratch were hiding. They were staring suspiciously at Sniff. Scratch spotted the harmonica. Scratch pointed it out to Guff. Guff pointed it out to Grunt. And Grunt's eyes narrowed in anger. But just as he was about to alert the king, Sniff plunged his claw into the black pouch around his neck and blew a clawful of golden dozy dust into the air. The sleepy cloud of dust didn't float lazily this time. It shot like an arrow across the roller towards Grunt, Guff and Scratch. Thud! Thump! Trump! The three Creakers fell fast asleep, instantly collapsing on the floor. And that's why humans never be trusted, the king continued, pacing back and forth, avoiding the cracks appearing in the ground around him. Sniff creaked silently over to Lucy, with a wet, trembling claw, handed her the harmonica. Please, help us, he said, his beady black eyes suddenly large and worried, so that he looked like a sad kitten. Lucy saw something in him she had not seen in the Creakers before. Kindness. She took the harmonica, closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and started playing. Beautiful music suddenly filled every corner of the collapsing cave while she tried to remember Lucy's lullaby, the one her dad used to play to her every night. The king stopped talking. He froze on the spot as though he could do nothing but listen to her music. As the notes reached the sleeping Creaker's pointy cabbage-like ears, they began coming round from the dozy dust spell, shaking off the slumber much faster than humans. Don't listen, you rottenness! They cried, scrunching up their faces as though the beautiful sound was hurting them. But the king couldn't help it. He was already caught in the music's magic. His cracked black lip was trembling. He was starting to remember. There he is, the Creaker King / Lucy's dad, with Lucy playing the harmonica. You be turned to dust if you go back, Scratch said in a panicked voice. Back, the king whispered, and Grunt shot Scratch an evil look for confirming the truth. Huge crystal teardrops formed in the corner of the king's eyes and began falling down his cheeks. Not tears of sadness, but of happiness. Happy tears, because every note Lucy played brought back his human memories to him. Music is much more than just sound and noise, more than notes and melodies. Music can transport us to different places, change the way we feel, bring back people no longer with us. Music cannot be seen or touched. It has to be felt. And as the king felt it, his head was filled with images of Lucy laughing, playing and smiling, images of his wife and his home. These happy tears fell across his rotten skin, leaving a trail behind them. It was as though they were washing away the wicked work of the Woleb, and the disgusting Creaker he'd become was melting at their touch. When Lucy finished playing, she opened her eyes. Let's go home, Lucy Pops, her dad whispered. It's a lovely end to that chapter. Lucy's got her dad back, but they are still trapped in the Woleb, with Creakers still after them. So, wonder what will happen next in chapter 27, Going Home. And that kind of gives it away what's going to happen, doesn't it? But Lucy has saved her dad, saved her mum and every other adult. So, I'll see you tomorrow for the next chapter. Bye!